comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in, sinners, to Sports Idiot Nation. Today is Thursday, November 14th, and as always, we come to you twice a week, every Monday and Thursday, recapping sports, comedy, pop culture, everything in between. I am Adam Reno, as always, joined by Mr. T.I. and Miles behind enemy lines. And right now, basically, with the NFL going to a 17-game odd number schedule, there technically really isn't a time where you can say it's the halfway through point of the season. So you know what? We're just making it right now. We are halfway through the NFL season because I said so. And so what we wanted to do was check in with our favorite teams, check in with the teams that we kind of have been keeping an eye on, and give out some awards. So we're going to have MVP of the first half, Coach of the Year, and talk through some of that. So, Miles, I want to ask you first. Let's go with right now. Let's go with biggest kind of surprise of the first half of the NFL season. And T.I., I'll get your take on mine real quick, and then I'll ask Miles his. So my biggest surprise for NFL 2024 is going to be the fact that the Steelers are not in last place in the AFC North. And not are they not last place, a couple things here. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record. I truly thought, based on the division and just what I thought other teams were going to be doing, Miami, I just thought that this could be the year that they have a losing record. Also, I thought Russell Wilson would actually start the season like normal. And not only did that not happen, but then once you find out that a running back is going to be playing quarterback, all of a sudden, every once in a while, he can actually throw the ball, and that is Justin Fields, to where their record is what it is. And so that, to me, is the biggest shock. Did you see the Steelers doing so well?
I did not see the Steelers doing so well. I'm kind of right there with you. I even thought about making a post earlier. I was kind of like, is it time that we start really questioning, are the Steelers going to make a run here? I mean, I saw a post of the day where they were saying, TJ Watt might miss the Super Bowl because he's going to have a baby. And I was kind of like, well, I missed the part where they made the Super Bowl. After today, I'm kind of like, are they in the conversation? I think they are in the conversation. The whole Justin Fields situation, maybe Russell Wilson was hurt at the beginning. I don't know really what was going on there. I don't know how you really start the season off with Justin Fields, your starter, when you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback on your roster. It's kind of strange to me. It's kind of like the Jets starting off with their backup QB. It's like, why would you do that? But I know they made a trade for Justin Fields. So yeah, I did not see that coming. I think they're squarely in the mix. They actually were very very active in the trade deadline. I mean, bringing in Mike Williams, whether you think he has something left in the tank or not, he proved today he has something. I mean, he's the reason why they won the game yesterday. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I think the Steelers are definitely in the mix. They surprised the hell out of me. Did not see it coming. It begs the question that, maybe in the offseason, the Bears should trade for Justin Fields. Can you imagine Justin Fields and the Bears? Can you imagine how potent that offense would be instead of Caleb Williams if they had Justin Fields?
Yeah, what if they traded up to get him or something?
I mean, he definitely has to be available, right? No, I mean, with all seriousness, yeah, to answer your question, did not see it coming. Honestly, I thought it was between the Bengals and the Ravens. And let's not knock on the Ravens. I mean, let's be real, they're right there. I mean, last year at this point.
But they're not a shock.
Lamar Jackson
they were already good.
Sure. Oh, totally. But I mean, at this season last year, Lamar Jackson had 24 touchdowns. at the end of the season. And right now he has 24 touchdowns with half the season to go. So Ravens are definitely right up there. Bengals as well are like proven. I mean, if they didn't have to play the Ravens already twice, like the Bengals would have a pretty good record. So
Bengals are still going to make the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
you look at the stand. They're a game behind
teams.
Denver for the last playoff position. They're going to make the playoffs.
We're going to see three. Yeah, we're going to see three teams from the North make the playoffs, I'm sure. But yeah, I did not see the Steelers making this. I thought the Steelers might be bottom of the barrel. I even thought the Browns could have a better, season than them. Granted, we didn't know Deshaun Watson was going to be as bad as he is. Last year, we thought he was because he was just trying to get the rust off. But, ooh, man.
Right. That's why Cleveland up there.
Browns fans got it. Yeah, Browns fans having a tough season. So, yeah,
very bad.
Pretty shocking. Miles, we probably need to, reach out to Art, and ask him how he's feeling about those Steelers,
Well, he's loving it. We were talking
Speaking of
this past weekend, and he's like, "You watching the games today?" I'm like, "The only reason you're asking me this is because you're good." And that was before they took out Washington on the road. He's actually fired up for a game against the Commanders because coming into the year, it's the same mindset of the Kings of the North. It's going to be jockeying between Baltimore, the Ratbirds, and Cincinnati. And obviously we thought Cleveland was going to be better than what they turned out to be. So most people picked Pittsburgh at the bottom, and he even felt that way preseason. So now he's actually got something to talk about. Being that they're 8 are they 7-2, 8-2, something like that right now.
We had a special guest show up out here, so Frankie wanted to give his opinion. He's like, Patrol. yeah. Hey guys, I'm disappointed to see the Ratbirds doing so good too, but it's hard to knock them, All right, Frank,
the dog eat dog world.
Come on. Yeah, maybe I should have locked the. Maybe I should have locked the barn, you guys. Sorry about that. Special guest, Frankie.
In the studio.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
First time, long time. This is why you need to follow Sports Idiot Nation on all social medias. As you just never know what you're going to get. Free for you can free for parfum. All right, so
like
Miles.
Teachers on.
I mean,
idiot
is in the name of our show, so guys, don't be surprised there,
All right, Miles, let's get your biggest surprise.
Yeah, well, Adam's favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals, out west, sitting atop the division at their midway point because, there are 18 seasons, so you think week 9 is the halfway point, but with teams sporadically having buys, there is no true halfway point.
Or 18 games, because 18 seasons would be a lifetime.
Well, 18 weeks. 18 weeks.
For Titans fans.
Yeah,
18 seasons for Titans fans.
For being a Niners fan and Titans fans, it feels like it's been 18 seasons through 10 weeks.
4 and 18 seasons ago, we watched Game 1, our teams play. The Cardinals
played 9 games through 10 weeks.
Yes.
And I thought coming into the year, Arizona would be improved. I thought Jonathan Gannon would have that team taken a step forward, but sitting them now, they're 6-4 because they took down the Jets. A little foreshadowing. We'll talk about them later on, but them already 50% more wins through just 10 games compared to last year. They were 4-13. Candidate for Coach of the Year right there. I think so at this point because I don't think many saw the Cardinals really being in the hunt because Murray's up and down on the field, off the field, and even Marvin Harrison
with
Jr.
A new Call
he's
of Duty
been
coming
okay. Out. What's that?
Especially with a new Call of Duty coming out this year, you just never know.
Right. Well, all the distractions possibly.
As is tradition.
Rolling out the turf, kind of, break an ankle, catch. Murray's had to deal with that, but the fact that they've done it really by committee offensively and their defense is doing well enough. But I figured if you tell us they're going to be first in the division at this point, Marvin Harrison Jr. is far and away rookie of the year, and he's third, fourth best rookie receiver right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they're doing it in a sustainable fashion, they might be a team that finds a way in the playoffs. I still absolutely believe the Niners will end up figuring it out. They've won a couple in a row now. They'll end up winning the NFC West, I have no doubt. But Arizona. That's a shocker to me. That not that they're improved. Saw that coming. Being 6-4, 10 games in the season, absolutely stunning.
Ti, what
Yeah.
say you?
Man, I feel like this is a softball. I feel like I'm throwing it up. But I mean, even though Sam Darnold absolutely probably played the worst game of the year yesterday, I mean, 3 interceptions against the Jags, the Vikings still
I
have
didn't
to
know they
be
played football
a
on
shocker.
Wednesdays.
Right.
I mean,
They play
yeah.
football on Wednesdays
I mean,
now.
Oh,
Yesterday.
What
well,
an idiot.
yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
But
Whoops.
this past week,
Yeah.
we know. Yeah. But overall, the Vikings
Yeah,
are
no.
playing well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, everybody's like, oh, Vikings, what is going on? You know? So, I mean, obviously it seems like an easy bet, but I mean, I agree with you guys. Cardinals, Steelers are great bets, and, you know, I couldn't pick them. So I'm going to have to say the Vikings because even when they play terrible, they're still winning. So, and that's not Vikings football. I mean, we know Vikings football. When they play terrible, they usually lose big. And they played terrible this past week and still won. So, you know, I mean, they had the lucky fortune of playing the Jagoffs, but still, you know. So I'm going to have to say the Vikings definitely. Sam Darnold, I mean, is he comeback player of the year? I don't know. At this point, who else really rivals him for comeback player of the year? Geno Smith maybe, but didn't he already win it? Didn't Geno win it like?
Well, and he's
2
not
years ago,
come
last
back.
year?
He's already Geno's been the starter. So
Yeah, but he was left for dead, and he went to Seattle and actually, like, you know, had a phenomenal year. So I don't know if like he actually won it that year or not. I mean, so yeah, you're right. I mean, and it has to be
once he
Sam
already
Darnold
came
has
back,
to be the
though.
comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
I mean,
case
Maintain
for
mediocrity.
again, we've said before, both those guys, former Jets, both those guys, former Jets. Like, what's in the water in New York where they just can't tap into these guys? But I mean, both of them are having great seasons. On their teams are competing. Vikings probably doing a little better than the Seahawks, but still, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Vikings, man. You know, I would have said the Bucks 2 weeks ago, but granted that they have now lost to the Ravens and to the Niners in back-to-back weeks.
Oh, they've
Kind of
lost
tough
4 in
throwing
a
the
row
mix,
at
but
this
they're
point.
still there. I mean, oh, is it 4? Oh, I thought they got
They've
one in
lost
between.
4
I thought they got a win in between these last 2
That's
losses.
4 in a row at this
Ooh,
point.
That's tough. They got the curse of Ti.
They're
Ti
pulling a
gave
Saints.
him, you know, Ti told him, yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, those are both the teams I said look out for. Look at them. Ooh, I mean, Derek Carr got, you know, Dennis Allen fired from 2 different teams. You know, I mean, that's got to be something special. I mean, you got him fired, and you got him fired of the Raiders, and now you got him fired in New Orleans. So
yeah, stay away from that guy. Like, if you see him coming, just act like you're on the phone and start walking the other direction. You mentioned the New York Jets, and I want to get into another real hot take, as the Jets are obviously pretty bad. I'll say that
they got smoked by the Cardinals. Woo.
Biggest disappointment.
Smoked.
So let's get into biggest disappointment. I will say
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. Now I will say that because of the hype, because I know that you guys are gonna talk a little Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure. But what I want to say about the Titans is because of the buildup, it wasn't that I thought they would be like gangbusters and necessarily win the division. But here's what I knew about the AFC South. I knew that Houston was a newcomer as being good in the division. I knew that Jacksonville was getting worse and Indy was getting worse. I thought Tennessee was getting better, not just because you guys wouldn't shut up about it, but because in my heart of hearts, I did believe it. Now, I realize I was an idiot, but here's why they're also a disappointment. Because they had a chance a couple weeks back to not win. And I mean, put an absolute chokehold on that number 1 seed. And I want them to get the number 1 seed for for having the number 1 pick. That's the number 1 seed I want them to have.
Remind me what it's like to have a number 1 seed, Niners fan.
Yeah, I'm pretty used to it.
It's been a while for us Titans fans. Shout out Tannehill.
No, it hasn't. It's only been a couple seasons. It
it's only been.
It feels like it's been that long ago.
It feels like it's been eternity, though.
Yeah,
feels like it's been eternity.
Miss me yet?
Yeah, 2021 is not that long ago.
Yeah. Tannehill's like sitting by the fireplace with his feet up, like smoking one of those long cigarettes, like with the little like thing. It's like
Virginia Slims.
Titans can't score
like
score more than the number on my jersey.
Dalmatians.
Yeah, he's like, you guys can't score more than the number on my jersey.
Exactly.
She was hot.
So I'll say the Titans just because of I didn't think they were going to be like, win even 10 games, but the fact that they're not only this bad, but they're even bad at being bad. You had one job a couple weeks ago, like to let New England just simply win that game and, cement yourself as having the number 1 pick.
Hey, they tried. They let Drake May like run back and forth like 85 times.
They
they tried to give it away,
and they failed, and I failed.
It's not their fault that they were sure that what's his face from former Tennessee guy Jared Mayo would go for 2, and he didn't. He didn't go for 2. That's his fault.
Right?
They were like, we're gonna give you the touchdown. Go for 2. Let's go home. And they're just like, no, we're playing it safe because we want that number 1 pick too.
So who's your biggest?
But let's be real though. How bad are they? Let's take a step back. Let's take the first 2 games of the year, right? Even take out the Will Levis dumb stuff. Without the punt blocks, they win both those games. The Colts game, they lost by a field goal, and they total had a defensive debacle in the end. This past week, they got screwed out of a touchdown and missed a field goal. Would have been tied in the end. Like, they're this close to being like to only having 2 or 3 losses, So,
but they're also this close to being like the worst team in all of football.
Oh, I know, but I mean, they have a guy at the quarterback that literally started his 15th game of his career. So, like, we just don't know how good or bad they are. Like, they're not like if every game was the Lions game, I'd be like, yeah, they're the worst team in the NFL. But it's hard for me to be like, are they really the worst team in the NFL? Are they worse than the Panthers? Are they worse than the Giants? I don't know. Are they worse than the Patriots? They beat the Patriots? I don't know. I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL, but they are definitely in the running for worst team in the NFL. I won't disagree there, but we could easily 3 or 4 plays in each of those games. We could be like, well, hell, now this team is mediocre, stuck in the middle, and now they're going to be a top 15 pick. But how bad are they? Like, they're still a bad team, but maybe they're not the worst. It's tough. It's tough to do. I think maybe about 4 more games we'll definitely know who the worst team in the NFL is. Right now, I don't think we really know who the worst team is. There's like 4 or 5 of them vying for that title.
Who's your biggest disappointment then, T.I.?
Biggest disappointment? Oh, man. This seems like a no-brainer. It's the Cowboys. I mean, giving Dak all that money, CeeDee Lamb all that money. I mean, even before the injuries, like, this team is underperforming. I mean, the Eagles game. I know it was Cooper Rush starting, but I mean, God, what was the final score of that game? Like 88-3 or something,
right?
I mean, let's be real. It's got to be the Cowboys to me, like because they start out the season with these unobtainable, goals and unobtainable expectations. And we all, as a collective unit of NFL fans across the entire country and outside of America, collectively root for them to falter. But I don't think anybody saw this coming. I don't think anybody saw it because on paper they have a good roster,
right?
But now that they've paid Dak all that money and CeeDee Lamb all that money, they can't afford Parsons. There's no way they can afford Parsons. He's gone after next year, or whenever.
And he's a baby, so he's not happy.
Oh, he's not happy at all. And he's got his own podcast, so maybe we should just throw him some money and bring him over to us. We could have a fourth center if Micah Parsons joining the Sports Idiot Nation,
for sure.
He have a better chance at a Super Bowl with us than he would the Cowboys. But yeah, I don't know. I have to say the Cowboys. Cowboys are the biggest disappointment for sure, outside of my Tennessee Titans. But since you picked them, I have to say Cowboys.
All right, Miles.
Got to go with the team without a head football coach. Yeah, it's the Jets. Coming
Yeah,
into the year,
yeah.
it's the bounce back for Aaron Rodgers, and they've even been disappointed in being disappointing. Like for the first few weeks, they were fun to talk about how much of a slack off they were, and now it's just like they're irrelevant anymore. Like no one's even discussing them. They
Mhm.
had that one blip on the meter when they beat the Texans, and it's right back to who the hell they've been for most of the season when they get destroyed by Arizona. Arizona, come on. What are the odds that the biggest surprise for me just demolished the biggest disappointment of the year? I guess it kind of makes sense in a way, though. But how on earth do you assemble that team and in that division, mind you? And you're sitting 3-7, 10 games in the year. And Buffalo, without
And
Diggs, without a receiver, before they got Amari Cooper, Buffalo had proven that they're key. McDermott wasn't really doing much with that team. They kind of struggled through the first half of their season. And so it was there for the taking for the Jets. Again, not necessarily that they were going to win that division, but very much be in the hunt. And as weak as the bottom of the AFC is, the Jets are technically still not out of it, but no, they don't have enough gas in them. And really, Aaron Rodgers is checked out, saying it is what it is. He doesn't really seem interested. The fact that he came back this season, I think, was a mistake.
I mean,
Yeah.
they traded for Devontae just hoping that they lit a fire under Aaron.
And then he dropped a touchdown pass this week.
Aaron's moved on. But when the Bills, though, I think McDermott just got in there, gave them some more 9/11 pep talks, and they just kicked it up a notch.
So,
That
all
guy.
right, here's something that I want you to think about. So when you think of, you mentioned the Ratbirds earlier, and you mentioned Lamar Jackson, and you brought up something that I was going to bring up, and the fact that the 24 touchdowns actually from last year to this year that he already has them, and it's actually league leading. And so when we talk about MVP, here's what I have an argument for, and I want to see what you guys think. So when you have a guy who leads the world in rushing yards and touchdowns and is a new face to the team, and your MVP player on the roster, his numbers improve, then who's the real MVP? Is it the new guy who is leading all statistical categories, or is it the former MVP who is also leading in the statistical categories, but is it because of the new guy? So my question is, I'm going back and forth, help me decide, is the MVP of the first half, in my eyes, going through this, because it may not be for you guys, you can say who your MVP is, but it's Lamar Jackson / your guy's guy, Derrick Henry. I don't know necessarily who to give it to, but I want to see what you guys think, and then go ahead, Miles, you start, say who your MVP is, and it may be the same, and that's fair. We could all three agree technically, but that's who mine is, but
Right.
tell me where my mindset should be.
Well, and I see what you're doing there, and I think it's quite interesting to bring that up. But at the end of the day, it's still Lamar. For one, he's quarterback on one of the best teams in the league. So, bring in the bias there already, because that's just how the voting goes anyways. So playing it safe, playing it smart. But from really the technical standpoint of, that's his team, it's his locker room. He's created the work atmosphere, the positive engagement within that locker room. But Lamar is proving that he's a leader, and especially after that week one disappointment in Kansas City, a game they should have won. He's bounced back emphatically. And the fact that after getting that MVP, obviously the expectations only go up. And it is a regular season. We know what he does in the postseason, but the MVP award is a regular season award.
Yeah.
So the mere fact that he's able to not only maintain but improve upon just shows how elite he is. And everything that team does, including King Henry, is based around what he is able to generate as running back / quarterback for that team. So Lamar Jackson is my MVP pick for the Middy.
T.I.?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to play devil's advocate, because it's boring if we all pick the same person. I don't disagree because he's definitely the MVP of my fantasy football team. Um,
Make an argument.
I think that,
is there? First of all, you can agree.
I think that Derrick Henry is in the conversation. He should be, because the year that AP won it, Derrick Henry's demolishing those numbers. If you look at statistics at this point in the season to what Adrian Peterson had his MVP year, Derrick Henry is annihilating it. But let's take a step back. There's a team in the league that's undefeated, and they have a person, at the helm by the name of Patrick Mahomes.
No way.
If they don't have Patrick Mahomes,
no way. Look at his numbers. Look, the reason I didn't bring him up, not even.
It doesn't matter.
Steve Spagnuolo is the MVP of the Chiefs, and I'm serious. Last Sunday, the refs were because the call they made up, the sack was so quick, and they're like hands to the face. Yeah,
what is that?
Literally but I'm telling you,
made up a call on the fly.
I'm telling you that defense. Look at the games. The defense has stepped up about 83 times this year when they've needed to, and so
but are they 9-0 with Carson Wentz? No. That's my thing.
Here's the problem.
I don't disagree with Lamar. I think Lamar is killing it. I think Lamar is more than worthy of the honor. But just for the sake of argument, to make a good show, I mean, the Chiefs are 9-0, and they would not be Chiefs to know.
This is now a bad
Carson
show.
Wentz. Carter Wentz is not going to have them at 9-0.
I think your argument's the wrong AFC quarterback, though. Josh Allen is playing more of an MVP type season than
better.
The last 5 weeks he has, but he started off the season like we were like, the Bills going to struggle. Sure. No. Josh Allen's great. Like I said, Josh Allen is the only person who can make sure the Titans fans enjoy the Super Bowl. He's the only person that can keep the Ravens, the Ratbirds or the Chefs from winning the Super Bowl is Josh Allen. So I have no qualms there, but I'm just being real. I mean, you take, it's the same situation. You take Josh Allen away from that team, they don't win any games. Take Patrick Mahomes away from that team, they don't win any games. Whoever the backup is in Baltimore, hell, I don't even know anymore. It used to be Tyler Huntley. It's definitely not. Or is it? I don't know. Who is their backup these days? They could still rely on Derrick Henry and still probably win some games, I mean, Kareem Hunt ain't winning games, and James Cook ain't winning games. So to go back to Adam's statement, is Derrick Henry the true MVP? I'm not obliged to give him that. Give it to him. Is he more deserving than Lamar at this point? Maybe so. How many touchdowns does Derrick Henry have? Like 12 or 13? Lamar has 24. I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. I know Derrick Henry scored a touchdown every game.
More worthy than Patrick Mahomes right now.
Sure.
I'd
100%.
say Jaden Daniels is having more of an MVP season than Patrick Mahomes is right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But they did just lose the Steelers. They're not undefeated. So that's just the world we live in. It doesn't matter. Like, if a team's undefeated, people are going to look at that quarterback and go, that's the good reason why they are. And Travis Kelce hadn't done anything until the last, 3 or 4 weeks. So, I mean, it's really hard to say, who on the offense has really been doing it. It hasn't been.
If you're going to say Patrick Mahomes is the MVP front runner, then I say we just give Tom Brady comeback player of the year for buying a portion of the Raiders. Then,
yeah, exactly.
No,
it makes I don't think
sense. I don't think Patrick Mahomes MVP. I'm just saying that if we're talking about who's in the argument, it's probably between him and Lamar at this point. Maybe Josh Allen and maybe Derrick Henry. I mean, I think we named the 4 that are probably in the running. Is Jared Goff in the running? I don't know right now. I mean, he may have been, but maybe not right now.
There's still time.
Yeah,
that's fair. All right. Well,
I mean, because we're. I mean, I saw a post of the day, and they were like, "Is Jalen Hurts in the argument?" I'm like, Jalen Hurts, and then I'm kind of looking at him. I'm like, well, they are 7-2.
Their offense blows.
No. But that's the world we live in now. It's like it's a quarterback's.
Not my world.
It's a quarterback's award to lose. Right?
Not my president.
Even though that we think we can probably all agree that Derrick Henry is probably the the best player in the league so far, it's a quarterback's award to lose. And right now that's between Hurts and Lamar and Allen and Mahomes.
But it ain't Mahomes is all we're saying. So for sure.
If the end of the season the Chiefs are 17-0, it's going to go to Mahomes. We know that.
But at that point, it will be more that he's done more and shown. You can't have these bad numbers forever.
I mean, how many games have they barely won? There's no way they finished.
Pretty much all of them. Pretty much
no
all of them.
way.
From blocked field goals to they haven't blown out. I mean, the 49ers was close. They were losing in the fourth quarter.
That's the thing. They're just
Cincinnati should have beat him. Baltimore should have beat him. Which is why I don't have Andy Reid as my coach of the year as of right now.
Nah.
I'd probably
had his flowers.
I'd probably give it to the guy who takes kneecaps in Detroit. T.I., who is your coach of the half year?
Oh man. God, I've got to go with the former Cowboy up there in the Commanders, the one that's running the Commanders, you know. I mean, up until, losing to the Steelers, I mean, they were 7-2. Nobody saw it coming, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember,
it's the back in
the day. Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day being like, yeah, Cowboys' offense is great, but that defense is just upper echelon. And, when he went to Washington, it was kind of like, well, we'll see what he does. And he kind of sputtered a little bit. But this season, that has a lot to do with Jaden Daniels, like we said. But still, I got to give him some credit where credit is due there. Washington fans are ecstatic. I think Washington fans are so happy that they don't even care where they go at this point. They're just like, hey, we have a winning product finally.
Right.
We'll take what happens in the next 3 or 4 years. But right now, hey, if we don't make the playoffs, we make the Super Bowl. We win one playoff game. We make the wild card. We don't care. Like we have a product on the field that we can watch. So I would probably have to say, definitely going in that route for sure.
Miles,
mid-season coach of the year.
Do you?
This one, I go ahead.
Yeah, no, just I was gonna say. Yeah, what do you say about it?
Yeah, I struggle with this one as well. It's like, Kevin O'Connell jumping out, but again, that's, a defensive laden team as well. And, a couple of first year coaches with their team. They're not rookie NFL coaches, but first year coaches with their team. What Dan Quinn's doing in Atlanta has been stunning. And here's kind of a curveball that most people don't have on their radar because he's not first in his division. But what Jim Harbaugh is doing with the LA Chargers has been nothing short of masterful. A team that so frequently comes up short of expectations and, sitting 6-3 midway through the season and certainly going to be in the playoffs. Finally, Herbert is going to get a chance to show us what he can do. And having a coach there that can coach up a quarterback and an opportunity to pull off an upset. So again, if we're going by a regular season, I want to go outside the box because he's not going to be the coach of the year, but I think he definitely deserves some flowers, and I'm going to go with Jim Harbaugh.
All right, then moving to
defense. I mean, defense is, what is it? They have held teams under 20 for 8 straight games. I mean, it's the first time they've ever done that. I mean, I don't care who you are. This is the NFL. That's phenomenal. So yeah. I can't disagree with Miles there. That's a good pick,
Who's got it better than him? Nobody. All right. This one's easy. Are we all three on board with Jaden Daniels for Rookie of the Year? There isn't a realistic argument, right? To go against.
Offensively, yes. But for the offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, right, because they do that now.
Defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. I couldn't even give you an answer on defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm a little who in the world?
I think it's not even close. It's Jared Verse for the Rams.
Oh, that's fair.
And Adam, you know all about that havoc he's causing out there. And it's Jared Verse.
No, he is good.
Because Dallas Turner has been not even
What-
relevant, which has kind of been
where was-
surprising.
Where was he at in the draft? Where did he get drafted? What pick?
Jared Verse or Dallas Turner?
Jared Verse.
Verse, I don't even remember where he went. Adam, do you remember where he
Wow.
went to the Rams?
Yeah, I'm not positive. Jared first.
Still. Was it so? Obviously,
Because
I'm
Dallas
assuming it
Turner
the
was
first round,
expected to be the first defensive player and go top 10, but he slid.
I remember
to
he was
Minnesota
first overall
mid
for them. He was the 19th overall.
Gotcha.
So
He was
I
19th
know he was
overall.
the Rams' first pick.
So, yeah, I have to say Jaden Daniels. I can't think of. I mean, yeah. Well, Jaden Daniels, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
there's
Bo
just
Nix.
no.
It's
I mean,
definitely
come
not
on.
Caleb Williams. It's
I
not
know we
Drake
want to have a
May.
show where
I
it's like
mean,
interesting, but come on, you're just gonna sound stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're gonna sound like an
Davis
idiot.
has been balling.
Let's be real.
Yeah, right.
Brian,
The
yeah, I was going
LSU
to say
receivers.
Brian Thomas or I was going to say Brian
Unbelievably,
Thomas
we
or
have
Malik
to admit,
Neighbors.
Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors are the non-quarterback offensive players that are.
Yeah.
They'd be the top two if you did it separate from.
But if you truly thought that
quarterback.
they were over Jaden Daniels, you would be just kicked off the show. I would mute your mic. So we're not going to do that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it has to. I mean, but both those dudes are before Williams or May. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what Drake May does for this year. I mean, he's not playing terrible by any means, and Bo Nix isn't playing terrible. But let's be real, they're not. Although
Yeah.
Bo Nix came.
We
came
said
close
that Bo
beating
Nix
the
was
Jets.
better. Was one of the better quarterbacks.
Miles said that. Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels surprised all of us. Miles indeed said, hey,
and it wasn't
Bo
that
Bo
I
Nix is
think
the
Bo
best
Nix
of them all,
was
but he's not.
It was a better.
Yeah.
It was because of his situation. Because
Sure.
the surprise is Washington, which is a team we really didn't even bring up for a surprise. You brought them up for
none of us
your
saw
head coach
that.
of the year,
None
but
of us saw that.
no one saw how bad the offensive line for Washington was supposed to be. That's where my argument came in, because I thought clear and away the best two quarterbacks were Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. And look, so far I've been right, but it was because I thought Bo Nix had better pieces around him. And look, the Broncos are a playoff team at this moment. They won't make the playoffs because, again, they continue to choke like they did in Kansas City last week. But they have that opportunity because Bo Nix helps. He's not the main reason, but he helps put them in position to win games. And I think he's going to be their quarterback for a long time coming. Stays healthy like anyone else has to. But he is solid in that Sean Payton system. He's a perfect fit for Denver, and that's why I thought he'd be the top quarterback. Jaden Daniels, the best quarterback, but he was in a horrible situation, which number 2 overall picks typically are.
Yeah. I mean, we did not see that coming. I mean, Dan Quinn has got him playing. I mean, obviously in Atlanta, you've got Raheem Morris or whatever. He started off great, and we all thought, oh, this is great. And then, but now Kirk Cousins kind of been struggling, and we're all like, well, maybe Penix gets in there, but it's kind of like it's a little too late for him to be in that argument, because it's like, doesn't matter what he does if he gets in there the second half of the season. It's like, it's definitely Jaden Daniels a surprise us all.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we are giving away our midseason awards. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your social media. Sports Idiot Nation. Remember, the podcast is on Apple, Spotify, and the most fun way to watch is on YouTube. The very last topic that I want to go over, I got to give a shout out to T.I. As we were going through some of the notes and some of the stuff that happened this season, as we were making our decision on certain things, you pointed out that what we should do would be kind of fun to give the least most valuable player award. And I think that's kind of funny, because you can look at a guy who's supposed to be in a situation where they're an intricate part of why they win. And obviously that's mostly quarterbacks, and just the bonehead memes that I've seen, and Marvin the Martian, and all this. We talked about the New York Jets. So I'm going to start us out, and I'm going to say that the LMVP, the least most valuable player, as is tradition, just starting out, 2024 Sports Idiot Nation, LMVP from me, a heartfelt choice. A one
Hurts.
discount double checking. Ratchets! I just truly love when someone who comes off as so arrogant. I don't care if it's from Kevin Durant to Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who the person is, but if they come off that way and then their fall from grace is that far and their struggle is that big, I enjoy it. I just do.
Sure.
And so I don't think, Aaron Rodgers is used to this. He's a part of why his team wins. But now I just think it's just hilarious that some of the plays that he can't make. And I just feel like you might as well have the kid from BYU, the Zach Wilson. At this point, what
No
you're
fun
going to
ever.
say that he would be doing worse? So my
No fun
MVP
ever.
is Aaron Rodgers. Ti, who's yours, and then Miles.
I mean, as much as it hurts, I would have to agree with you there, because I've said before on the show, Aaron Rodgers has always been one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. I still, sans this season, I still think he's one of the best pure passers we've ever seen.
Yep.
So I definitely agree with you there. But, man, it's kind of tough for me. I mean, God, I've got two choices. I've got one player that had the team had high
Mayonnaise is
expectations.
one
Well, no, I can't pick that guy. I can't pick my own guy. I got this one team who I thought had high expectations. I've already kind of mentioned about him, but I'm gonna have to go with the least most valuable player in the league, a guy that keeps getting chances no matter what. It's Daniel Jones. It's Daniel freaking Jones. How does he keep getting chances? I mean, what other quarterback would keep getting these chances?
Well, he's trying to keep up
let's
with the
take Titans
Joneses.
fans. I mean, Titans fans are ready to. They were done with Will Levis after 8 games. Daniel Jones has had 4 seasons and a second contract, and
He's had 18
big contract
seasons,
at that.
according to Miles.
I mean, so as much as I'd like to say Dak Prescott, I've got to go Daniel Jones.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Least most valuable player in the league has got to be Daniel Jones.
All right, Miles.
I love that we made it L MVP. We couldn't be efficient and just say LVP for least valuable player. We had to make it the least most valuable player. But yeah,
because
in Germany,
by a most amount, he is the least.
the most, he is the least. That's fantastic. And I really wanted to go Bryce Young, but Bryce Young screwed this up for us in Germany and lost out to TI's LMVP. God, what a mouthful. So Daniel Jones was definitely on my radar, but I have to go with another guy that's gotten multiple chances and multiple handies. Deshaun Watson of your Cleveland Browns.
Not even people in Cleveland are listening.
There's someone watching this that he belongs to.
Not my Browns.
or some massage parlor that he belongs to.
Deshaun's burner YouTube account is watching us. That's who it is.
Yeah.
And maybe subscribed among the 13 and change thousand that have subscribed to us so far.
Yes. Big shout out to subscribers. Make sure, again, you follow us wherever you get your social media. Sports Idiot Nation. Reminder, shows come to you every Monday and Thursday for you. The most fun way to watch is, of course, on YouTube.
We forgot one, though. We forgot one award.
What's that?
The Offensive Player of the Year. The Offensive Player of the Year. We forgot that one.
Fair. All right.
We did.
Go ahead and start us off. Well, okay, come on. Let's make it.
I think it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I think we all already said it. It's Derrick Henry. We all already said it.
So what I was going to say is there an argument for anyone else? And the answer is no, right?
No. If Jaden Daniels is Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels can't win Rookie of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year. It's Derrick Henry to lose.
Well, no, his numbers aren't there to be Offensive Player of the Year.
Sure.
Honestly.
Sure.
When Derrick Henry, when a receiver or a running back leads the league in multiple categories, it's just what CMC was. And man, I sure do wonder, not just as a Niners fan, but I just wonder because he played so well catching the ball this past week in his first game. And so, like, I just wonder, but there's no wondering right now. It's Derrick Henry.
Speaking of comeback player of the year, Ricky Parasol, right?
Got his first NFL touchdown after being shot 10 weeks ago.
Bro gets shot in the chest, and now he's out there scoring 57-yard touchdowns. I mean, come on. Come on.
I mean, that is pretty cool to see. I mean,
yeah.
That was.
I don't know if a rookie can win comeback player of the year, but he could be the first to do it.
Like it's his first year, and he didn't miss, more than half
NFL,
the year. But
if you're watching NFL, make it happen, because that is a story.
That's a reasonable exception.
Or maybe it's Brian Robinson. Maybe it's Brian Robinson comeback player of the year, because I mean he got shot too, and he's doing great. So maybe it's him.
It was the story. Burris.
Yeah. There's another guy who got shot and was okay. So as long as you're in the NFL, it's okay to be shot. Well, it doesn't matter.
No,
that wasn't.
Note to self: if you're bringing a gun into the club, don't wear sweatpants, because it's it's not a lot of resistance there. I mean,
it is gray sweatpants season for us men, but not in the club.
Right. I had gray sweatpants on today. I did.
All right. Be sure to check us out, Sports Idiot Nation, and of course, we will see you Monday. Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.